Let's see if I remember how to do this. Wow, it's been a while. I can't believe it's been a year since my last video. Crazy. Life's been crazy. A lot going on, but I'm going to try and start making videos again just because I do enjoy it. It's a bit of a challenge, you know. Forced me to get in front of the camera, forced me to try something new. Not really new, but forced me to get back into the swing of things, sort of thing. So I made a video a while back about just basically saying how mirrorless cameras are great, but don't disregard DSLRs. They're still amazing tools, and they can still take amazing images. Just to kind of update you on that, I guess a year later, I actually upgraded my camera. Filming on it right now, it's the Nikon D7500. So in that previous video, I was using a Nikon D7000 back from 2010. So you're looking probably 15 years old at this point. And last October, I decided to upgrade to yet another DSLR instead of going mirrorless. And why? Cost, basically. Cost was the biggest factor, and I got this camera for $650 Canadian, which is pretty much a steal because the sensor is still the same sensor used in their DX crop Z line of cameras, so like the Nikon Z50, ZFC, Z30, and now Z52. Right? 52? Yeah, I think I forgot. I think I got them all. But yeah, so just to kind of elaborate and continue on that, still loving DSLRs. It's an amazing tool. For what you get, it's more than what fits my needs. You don't really need a lot of the capabilities of mirrorless unless you're doing video. This is actually a great challenge because I kind of locked off the autofocus. I will admit the autofocus is not the greatest with DSLRs, Nikon's in specific, but other than that, for photos, I haven't still felt myself being held back at all. And there's still a huge advantage on DSLRs, at least for me, versus the mirrorless side of things, where battery life. I'm out in the field a lot, and I've been doing a lot of wildlife, actually. A lot of wildlife photography. I kind of got into that the past year. It's been a lot of fun. But the fact that I don't have to worry about battery life, I have two batteries. I have my main and my spare, and I could literally go days sometimes if I'm just doing photos on the batteries, and I won't have to worry about charging them, which is great. Like, it's just one less thing you have to worry about. The autofocus in the D7500 it's amazing. It still locks on very quickly up to today's standards. It's 8 frames a second, mechanical shutter, so fast enough for most of your wildlife stuff. I know these mirrorless cameras can kind of rack off 20 images, 30 images a second. The fact that like you're gonna have to look through all those images for that one single frame, sometimes that can make or break a difference. But for someone like me who's just doing it for fun and more of a challenge, because 8 frames a second is more than enough. It was more than enough for many years. It was used by pros for many years. 10 frames a second of the D500 is even better. Much more than that, I really don't see you getting that trade-off of like your bang for buck. So it's a point of diminishing returns after a certain point where it's cool to say you can rack off 20 images a second. However, in practicality, filling up your card, looking through all those images, and I might get a little bit of flag for this one, but you're not really like honing your skills as a photographer. You're kind of relying on the fact that the autofocus is going to track for you, and you're relying on the fact that like you don't have to actually time anything. It's that challenge of with DSLRs, you almost have to predict the moment and then work within it. Autofocus as well. Like I use the center point with the outside 9 autofocus points, so a very small area, but I can track with it, as opposed to letting it just kind of just do its thing. To me, it's not being so much as a lazy photographer, but I still like working at the craft, and I just feel overall it still makes you a better photographer doing that. And DSLRs are so fun. I mean, I love the sound they make. They're fun, they're easy, they're cheap, they're reliable, they go forever. The one thing that I really upgraded to this camera for was the tilting screen. I could not stand not having a tilting screen on the D7000, just because a lot of wildlife photography, especially like ducks, smaller wildlife. They're very low to the ground, so if you want to get low to the ground and kind of get that eye level shot with certain animals, you're on your stomach a lot, but sometimes it's not feasible, especially with ducks. Like, I find myself a lot at the edges of ponds or water sources where my body's kind of on a down angle and then your neck is just tilted up, and sometimes you can't, so you almost have to hold the camera down. And it's nice to have a tilting screen now where I can hold the camera down and look at the screen and then fire off a couple shots that way. So it just overall makes things a little bit easier. The other thing too is, I mean, you can use, there's a plethora of lenses out there still for DSLR bodies. So if you're Canon or a Nikon shooter, there's so many lenses that are just cheap right now that you can pick up. This is a 100 to 400 Sigma. The lens is super sharp, but I mean, I picked this lens up for $600, used of course. But the fact that, like, there's, yes, you can use adapters, you can use your ZFC adapter, EF to RF adapter, all those adapters. I like to just be able to click and on, and then if I want to switch out a lens, take that lens off, switch it, put it on. So I still have a couple DSLR lenses, and it's nice to be able to just constantly switch on the fly and not have to worry about taking off an adapter and switching it over. Yes, there's always the point you can use as well, like just native glass, so you can get the new Z series of lenses, or the RF lenses for Canon, E lenses for Sony. But if money's not an option, great. However, with things that are going on nowadays, it's always nice to save some money, so I'm going to use my old lenses. They work great, and just it's one less thing I have to worry about. But yeah, the viewfinder, I still like an optical viewfinder. That being said, sometimes I do like or miss the EVF from mirrorless cameras. It's great just to be able to see your exposure like in real time and do it that way. But it hasn't really bothered me as far as like the optical viewfinder goes. It still feels like you're seeing the scene real and in real time and true to life, which it is because you're looking through glass. But yeah, that's just a quick video, just to kind of give you an update on where I've been, what I've been up to. This is kind of just the first in the videos. Yeah, I'm still on DSLRs. I'm still recommending DSLRs. They're a great value. The image quality is still there. It's still going to keep up with the new mirrorless cameras out there today. Yes, ISOs can be higher. Yes, there's advantages and a whole bunch of new features that basically DSLRs can't touch on mirrorless. But for someone getting into photography, so for someone who just wants to hone their craft, for someone who just wants to have fun, get a DSLR. And DSLRs are still relevant in 2025. That's just my take. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. I will start to be coming out with more videos more regularly again. But yeah, if you like what you saw, make sure to stick around, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.